So my name's Andrew and I manage partnerships and fundraising for a charity called Borderline, which is the charity for homeless Scots in London. And I'm here today to kind of speak about our Scottish Outreach Worker project, which is a frontline street outreach service, which to go for it's been our biggest supporter since it launched back in 2014. Thanks to them, we now have 2 outreach workers working frontline in Westminster, where the majority of homeless Scots are found. So we're really here to update about how the impact that Go For It's had and how we've been able to grow the project with their support.
So I'm here to tell you a little bit about Borderline's Scottish Outreach Worker project, which supports homeless Scots in London. So I think, as we all know, homelessness is such a huge issue in our society, and it's increasingly hard to miss, especially at this time of year. And in London, Scots are unfortunately overrepresented in the homeless population. Despite hopes of perhaps a better life in London, our clients that we support are isolated, they're far from home, they're without a community, and they often have nowhere to turn but sleeping rough on the streets. And so our latest research shows that homeless Scots are some of the most entrenched rough sleepers in London. Over 50% have been sleeping rough over at least 2 consecutive years, and often it's far, far longer than that. But the problems that they face go far beyond just having nowhere to sleep. And so our clients face really, really complex support needs. This could be from failing physical or deteriorating mental health, and that's often made worse from years spent on the streets. And so the majority of our clients are also battling long-term addiction issues around drugs and alcohol as well. And so across all these support needs, the figures are higher when we compare it to UK homeless clients in general. And as many homeless Scots have a longer institutional history around being brought up in care or having spent time in prison, it's really not a quick fix. So that's why Borderline launched the Scottish Outreach Worker project back in 2014. With our 2 outreach workers, Alex on the left here and Patricia, we run a frontline street outreach service to meet clients where they're bedded down. And so this project runs across London, but primarily in Westminster, because this is where the majority of homeless Scots are found. And our outreach team are based there, and they work closely with other homelessness services to make sure that our clients have access to the best possible support. But how does the project help specifically? So we help clients access appropriate accommodation across London, firstly to get them off of the streets. So this could be anywhere from a short-term hostel stay, it could be referrals to a longer-term housing if that's appropriate at that time. But once a client's housed, we provide that practical support in terms of providing financial grants for clients to buy their own clothing and home starter packs as well. We'll also help with ongoing budgeting support to ensure that clients can really manage their own finances. Birth certificates as well may not seem like a huge thing, but it's really crucial for identification purposes. You can imagine without an ID, you can't access benefits and often housing or employment. So many of our clients before coming to us have no proof of identity, so that's often really a hugely important first step that we take. And crucially, we also help individuals to access specialist alcohol, drug, and mental health services. And that's really to address the root causes of their homelessness in the first place. And our work's really about recognizing that every individual has their own story, and that's why the project provides that tailored support. And so Borderline supports individuals like Scott here from anywhere between 2 weeks up to 18 months, but often that can be a lot longer until our support's needed. So the project really primarily, as I said, tries to move people away from rough sleeping and into housing, but that's not the end of our support. It's not a case of having a roof over your head and this magically solving why an individual's homeless in the first place. It's really a huge transition from a chaotic life on the streets, and our outreach team makes sure that our clients have the necessary wraparound support in place. So what's been the impact? Over the last year alone, since the project launched at least, year on year, we've supported more individuals in need. And over the last year alone, the project's had over 1,000 engagements with clients and supported almost 70 individuals. And one of the most exciting developments has been the expansion of the project over the past year. So we now have 2 outreach workers, and Go For It's really been our biggest supporter since the early stages. They've enabled us to be in a position to grow to this stage. And although it's in its early stages, this expansion is already benefiting our clients. We can now better meet their needs and ultimately have more resources to reach more fellow Scots in need of our help. Let me just grab this sheet that's lost. So as Borderline's based in London, we work closely with the churches down there, and they've helped the project grow massively. For example, we have an annual Christmas reception hosted by the church, which really helps us to enable to raise vital funds. Whilst we have 2 Crown Court members and 2 St Columba's Church members as trustees, the church really has had a huge influence on our project development. And so the last word here goes to Billy. And Billy's one of our previous clients who the project's helped move into his own accommodation and to access specialist mental health services to help address previous trauma he's experienced in his life. And when we asked him about how having the support of the Scottish Outreach Worker project's helped, he said it's made such a huge difference to his life. Simply put, he said the project's done wonders for him, and without it, he'd still be sleeping rough on the streets, or perhaps worse. So thank you from me and everyone at Borderline, on behalf of all our clients, to Go For It for your massive support to Borderline's Scottish Outreach Worker project. And hopefully with your continued support, however they might look, we can continue to grow the project and help more homeless Scots in desperate need. Thank you very much.